Hi folks, hope you're well. It is Sunday, it is coming up to 1:30 p.m. Does that matter? Not particularly. Not really, no. So yesterday I went down to football, but the African church people were not there. They said they would be, but they weren't. But they did have that 4th of July with a church, Community Church of Rick Harris and the Vineyard Church doing their thing. So I stayed to help a bit, putting tables out, chairs out, spoke to a few people. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, most of the people I spoke to were from the River Church. Yeah, they do actually. The River Church have some lovely people there, and people with potential. Because Dave was one of them. Dave I spoke to many times before when I was at the River Church. Lovely man, elderly man, but lovely man, good nature. But like so many, I was speaking to a lady first who's from Texas, and in speaking to her, she understood something. She had tripped over something that was of God in the past, that the Bible is a map. And I said to her, yeah, I said, you're absolutely right. The Bible is a map. And it's a map to a destination. That destination is Father. But the problem is that if you're in a church where they change the directions, and they keep changing their directions like they do, then your destination is going to be completely different. You end up somewhere very, very different to where you think you're going to. But you're being told all the time, this is God, this is God, this is God, this is God, this is God. Even though you yourself can look in the Word of God and see it's not. But church has a way of then saying, oh, it is. Because after speaking to her, I spoke to her for a good amount of time, lovely lady. Ends up that she's not married now. And I said to her, you do realise it's not too late. If you desire to have someone to join you on your journey, that is quite within the realm of possibilities. God can do that, yes. So, yeah. In the end, I left her to it after that. She was busy. I think they were doing jacket potatoes for people. And they had a massive queue for that. Jeez. There was another area that was doing burgers, and there was about 5 people waiting for burgers, but about 40 people waiting for jacket potatoes. Yeah. People suddenly had a desire for jacket potatoes. Well, there you go. But as I say, I was speaking to another bloke from the River Church, and with him, we were speaking about various things. One of the things we were speaking about was when churches are doing things against the nature of God. And I said about John 4:23 and about true worshippers. And he said, yeah, but you're worshipping part of the Trinity, therefore you're worshipping. I said, again, this is where the church is bloody stupid. Really bloody stupid. Is that when you say that, you're saying that the Son of God didn't know about the Trinity. When he said you're supposed to be worshipping the Father, that he didn't know, the Father's part of the Trinity. So he didn't understand that if you're worshipping the Father, you're worshipping the Son. If that's true, which it isn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said you're supposed to be worshipping the Father. And after a few seconds, he went, oh, right. Because he'd never really thought about it. He'd been told by church. A lie. A demonic lie. And no one had ever challenged that lie. Because in church, you can't. Right? So, then when I was speaking to Dave, he was speaking about, young people in the church, bringing God to young people in the area. And I said to him, yeah. The problem is, again, as I've said to other people around here, if what you're doing is, if you're watering down the Word of God, through one generation, then that generation waters down the word of God, then the next generation waters down the word of God, then the next generation waters down the word of God, and that just continues. This generation of young people, what have they got that they're bringing to people of the world? They're bringing the world. They're not bringing God anymore, because the church has watered down the word of God to such a degree that doing the opposite of what the Son of God said doesn't matter. That's okay. Because church has found a way of using the word of God to say that that's okay, even though it isn't. You'll have people searching the words of Peter or the words of Paul to say that the words of the Son of God are wrong, or that what he meant was something different. There's a desperation, and where does that come from? The devil, not from God. It comes completely from the devil, because whose desire is it to take the church away from God? It ain't God's desire, that's the devil's desire. So whose desire is it to bring perversions of truth into the church? Well, that's the devil. Yeah. But there you go, as I say. Yeah. Yeah, did I go into all that detail with people? No. Because again, yeah, it wasn't about that, and we weren't having that conversation. If I speak to those people again, maybe we will actually have that conversation, but we won't. But as I say, that's it. When you take communion and you water it down to such a degree that you say it doesn't have to be bread, it doesn't have to be wine. You do what makes you happy. No. When I just said that, automatically in my mind was a swear word. Well, two, basically. One swear word and one word off coming afterwards to that. Because to me, I'm disgusted by that. Yeah, as I'm saying it, I feel revulsion towards that. And again, as I've said before, I didn't see it for all those years. But now I see it. I understand what it is. I see what it is. And I'm not judging the people that do that. But what they're doing, I've said before, what they're doing is they're sticking two fingers up to the Son of God. But then they're telling people, oh, we really love Jesus. It's all about Jesus. Yeah, as I say, it's where we are. But it was nice to do that, to actually be there and talk to those people, because when you don't go to the meetings, you don't go to the churches, you don't see that there's nice people in those churches. You don't see that there's people who actually have an awful lot of potential. An awful lot of potential. And, that with teaching and with guidance, they could have that relationship with God. But again, when I was speaking to the lady from Texas, I said to her, I've said to people all the way along, and the person I was speaking to about worship, I said to him, because he said he used to watch my videos in the past, and I said to both of them that, well, the woman, I said to her, I've said to people, go to God about your church. Go to God about whether your church is doing things according to God, or at least trying to. If they're not even trying to, walk away. If they're trying to, stay and help. To the bloke, what I said to him is, at the end of the videos, I say to people on most videos, if I'm bringing something which is the first time I'm bringing it and people have not had a chance to take it to God, I say all the time, take it to God. Don't simply believe it because I'm saying it, and don't reject it because I'm saying it. Take it to God. If you hear something in this video that pricks your understanding, or you go, oh, okay, I'm not sure about that, take it to God. Don't either accept it or reject it based upon who's saying it. If you reject it, you could be rejecting truth that could be fundamental to your life either way. If you accept it and you shouldn't, again, you might be bringing something into your life that could be fundamental and could lead you down the wrong path. Take everything, whether you hear it in church, whether you hear it on the internet, take everything to God. Don't accept it. Don't allow crap in. Don't push things away that are of God. Oh, it's the case where people wrongly believe that they can push things away that are of God because, if I didn't take it this time, God will keep giving me chances. Why? God is not stupid. If God has given you 10 chances already, what's the point of him giving you another 10? What's the point? So take everything to God. Understand, this might be your last chance. It might be. Start getting serious about your relationship with God. Start getting serious about the fact that you have one life, you have one destination that you're going to go to. Choose wisely.